My name is Bettina, I'm working at PixelPoems, so we are a small web agency in Vienna. Andreas, my boss, is also here, so I have to stop at that. So I started working with Silverstripe 2019, also at PixelPoems, so that was my first time getting in touch with that. So my previous knowledge was pretty limited with basic PHP development and a little bit CSS and HTML, so that was everything I knew, and then I got into Silverstripe. So I started with version 4 something, and today it's not about caching, so I'm really sorry for those who are expecting to hear a talk about caching. It's more about the biggest features or bugs, or at least my failures with Silverstripe and all around the setup. So let's dive into that. So I prepared some bugs for you with Composer, YAML, template breaks, deployment, cache, deletes, a little bit e-commerce example. Then we have a little topic with cache, but it's really small. And last but not least, a little bit about multi-tab editing, or what does not work with that. So first of all, start with Composer, and the joy of dependencies. So imagine you need module A, and it requires Silverstripe 2 or 3, so it's pretty old, and you're on 4.11, so we heard a lot of updating from 5 to 6, but if we have something really old, yeah, it's hell. So let's raise hands. Who would update the module? Who would do it new? Okay, so only Werner is raising his hands for both. Okay, let's stand it like that. So here's my favorite personal Composer headache. Repository order, I think it's a beginner error, or might not. I don't know, I run into this more often than I think. So picture this. You've got a big repository setup with all your packages and everything works fine. And now you would want to develop one module. So just one small change. So you add your local path in repository, and we know all from James' talk from Hamburg, if you see that, or also Werner about the update things. So look at that. So that's actually from, I think, 2 weeks ago. I got my whole Composer package here, and yeah, it says, nope, package is covered with this. I ignore that one, because I already got the package. So I rearranged, and I was really wondering why my local package is not loading. Yeah, turns out I just had to change it, and then everything works fine. Yeah, small things can change everything. So, last Composer point. Yeah, we're still with the local development, and also still everything works fine. Now it's also required correctly. And again, I started to develop my first module after James' talk in Hamburg, and it's simple. You have your PHP code running, as I said, and now we come to the part where I wanted to add some CSS and JavaScript. Yeah, I noticed that it's not there in the public folder. It's there, it's built, it's somewhere, but it's not loading correctly. So I looked into the public folder, and it should be Silverstripe, my module something, in vendor PixelPoems, as you used to it. Actually, it's like this one, so you see on the silver, it's resources, Silverstripe. So it's stripped the first 2 characters, and it's there. Yeah, but it's connected, and yeah, so I ended up to just copying it to the right path until I connected it from the Git when it's not local anymore. So we already had a discussion on Slack for that, and it still turns up, even on this machine, on that in the office. I don't know how to fix it. I think it's a Composer problem if you want to sync it to your local development thing. So, well, next, YAML files. Okay, I heard some laughers. I think you all know where it leads to. Have you ever had one of those nights? So YAML files seems like really chill, but they're friends where they are really sensitive. So one wrong space or misplaced tab, one character more than you need to have, and everything breaks. And perhaps you don't find it in the first second you look at that. So I spent really long time to debug some configs, and I think you have too, some of you perhaps. So yeah, that's one of that. And the next one is hierarchy. Okay, I've heard it again. So you have an apt config YAML, then you have module configs, and then perhaps, so at least we have a lot of configs for each language, or perhaps for e-commerce or something else with keys. I don't know. We have a lot of configs. So yeah, it's sometimes a mess to find that, but I'm looking forward to Tim's talk in the afternoon. Perhaps you cover something of that as well. So move on to template breaks. So yeah, where does a template belong? When I started with Silver Stripe, I was really like, where do you have to move this template? Does it belong here? Here? No. Okay, so let's check it out about templates layout, or templates page, perhaps layout. Or I move it next to templates my namespace layout. Perhaps it's a module namespace. Okay, I think you see the picture and where I want to go. So when you start with that and you don't know how to work or how to move things in the right place, I think it's a little bit complicated to check out all the folders where you can put it. Yeah, so it's all about structure and namespacing. I think if you work with that even longer, it's getting better. But yeah, I still be honest, I still play roulette with the templates until it works or not, or I rename it. So when I first started with Silver Stripe, I tried to deploy it with FileZilla. So perhaps some of you also tried that sometime or for some projects. It was horrible. So uploading 1,000 of vendor files and watching the progress bar until it's getting to an end or not, or to restart. So in the end, I have still a project where the permissions are not right after deployment. Because why are the images not uploading? Or why is that not reaching the public folder? I don't know, because 644 or 755, what is the real thing? Who's the owner of that directory? So getting all permissions correctly with FileZilla, or if you have the wrong user, is really a mess sometimes. So wait, go to the next. Cascade deletes. This actually is from a project I worked on in the last year. So we had a setup, e-commerce setup, self-made, because it was just a small thing. And everything worked perfectly. We had Fluent on it, and so we had a lot of instances. And I just needed to unpublish one page. And that was a project where I thought, I do it really clean and good. And I have cascade deletes on that. And I unpublished it, and all the data objects were gone. Yeah, and we really needed some time to get to the point where, yeah, cascade delete got into that. It was just unpublished. It was not deleting the page. Yeah, I deleted the cascade delete, and now it works. So well. Coming to another project we worked on. So everything, again, worked perfectly, I thought. Payment processing and everything worked fine. And then imagine a customer is really excited and double-click the last button. And we had the order twice. So we don't know why that happened that way. So we put on a JavaScript to prevent the customer to double click that button. We're still on trying how to prevent it if it is not using with JavaScript. Hopefully. Yeah, but hopefully we will find a way as well. So well, that's the caching part, and it's only this slide, so I'm really sorry again. Yeah, when I get into a wrong behavior of my site, my first instinct is always to clear the cache and to build it again and delete the SilverStripe caching folder and so on. So sometimes it really fixes everything, so it's a beautiful moment if you run that and it's all solved by heaven, I think, and works again. And sometimes it's really clear everything or delete everything. I reset a project again, sometimes especially after you change Git branches. It's sometimes the caching stuff which is going along and saying, nope, I'm not in that state, you are. And yeah, so I also sometimes sit in the front of my office monitor and really 10 minutes just default flush, or why does that not work? So it was the easiest solution first, and then really dig into the problem. So, and last but not least, the multi-tab editing. So a few of you perhaps also ran into that Fluent thing, I say. It's more or less sometimes a nightmare, because if you're working on German content tab and a French, for instance, or English in another, you're productive, you do the translations and then save, and suddenly it's one language in the other tab or mixed up, but there is already an open issue by Learny. Thank you for that. So thank you for everyone who's working on that, because we run into that error, or not error, but this bug, and also our clients does. So thank you for opening that issue and commenting on that. And so the community factor is my solution on problems if I can't fix them. So thank you all. So I think we all had this moment where Google does not help and Claude is not in a room. So open Slack channel or also the forum, overflow questions. Sometimes some of you are on that, and reach out. So let me share my first getting in touch with the community. It was my first question on the SilverStripe forum, I think 2019, 2020, something like that. And can you imagine who answered my question? No, it was Tim, our lovely host. So thank you for that again. So that was my first getting in touch with the community. So for those who are starting, I think my big point is every stupid questions you think you have, someone else had it before when we all started it. So let's end with an HTTP request, which really exists thanks to Mass, who brought that to me, because I think it's pretty good if we're here drinking tea and chat about our biggest bugs, failures, or anything else. Thank you very much.